started. Surprisingly on time. So even though we're doing a very different kind of Torah, I think we should still start with our Torah blessing. Ends with La'asok Divrei Torah. So join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher nishanu b'tzivah tzivanu la'asok Divrei Torah. Alrighty, so one, let me explain to you kind of what we're doing a little bit today. I had a lot of fun putting this together. I saw one last night and loved every minute of it. I've been listening to great music all week. So, not Christmas music. Israeli music, but it's usually Christmas music. Here, if you can make sure people who are coming in, they have one of those.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. I was drafting like that, but. So anyway, so what I want to do is we're going to kind of go through Israeli history, looking at Israeli music. So what I've done is I picked about 2 songs per decade that they're not chart toppers, they're not songs that everybody knows. It's usually songs that I feel capture something about that decade and can teach us something about really what's going on in Israeli society during that time. So. Why I'm bringing you this, I took classes in college about Israeli society and culture, and I also took one class in college on the history of Jewish music, and it was one of my favorite classes because the musicians in the class heard and understood something completely different than those of us who were like Jewish studies majors, right? We were listening for very different things. So I think this is a kind of Torah that engages a lot of different people in different ways. So those people who are more musical, creative type will hear one thing. And I'm going to try to kind of go through these. Again, we're kind of all on the same plane because I'm in no way, shape, or form like a musicologist or an expert on the academic study of music or anything whatsoever. I'm not bad at Israeli history stuff. So we're going to kind of go through this. And because I've got a lot of songs for us to cover, don't be offended if I only take like 2 or 3 comments or something about it. But if you've got something really burning, like write it down and make sure you call me after. All right, so we're going to start with a song by Arik Einstein. In his obituary, he died while I was in Israel 2 years ago. This was the line that really stood out. He said, "He was our Frank Sinatra, our Elvis Presley, our Bruce Springsteen, all rolled into one." Arik Einstein, I'm putting him as the introduction because he kind of transcends he's timeless. Every single decade, I could have picked him for any decade. Somebody way better at me than this could have just done his songs for every decade. But the one I picked for him is he's going to be in the 70s for us. But this song is actually about, he's writing this song in the 80s about early Israeli history. And it's a really interesting music video where he combines some scenes from like his old black and white footage. And I kind of want to get you to be able to see that in his music video he covers most of Israeli history and he's singing about it at the same time. So we're going to get into Arik Einstein a little bit more later. But what I want to kind of balance out, I know you've got a lot of material here. Sometimes I'm going to have you look at the screen and the videos, and sometimes really focus on the lyrics. So at your own leisure, kind of jump back and forth. If there's something really important, I'll point it out of which one of these things you should be focusing on. But while this is queuing up, I just wanted us to read through the translation of these lyrics real quick. Somebody want to read this for us? This is the only one I'm going to have us read through the entire thing.
We spoke in many different languages, and we almost didn't know each other. We left many different places, and only wanted and loved one place. We came to this country. The convoy keeps on coming since last century.
That's the name of the song, it's the Convoy song.
The ones who came from far away have already departed. Farmers and pioneers who worked hard, not seeing the end of the road. Now we come, we did not rest. We will continue. This is our life's adventure. We came from ghettos and camps to the desert and swamps, from the Arab countries, Russia and Poland. We put a light in Dimona and Tigania. And from all the diasporas and with all the problems, we established a nation and the land arose. And a language that was dormant started to wake up and be spoken and spoken. Big storms, difficulties, and sorrow surrounded us. But there is reason to be happy. There is still courage and strength in this land.
And the last paragraph at the beginning here. How Israel grows strong around us. She is stronger than all our shortcomings. And you'll hear He imitates David Ben Gurion's voice. He says, and the Neged will also bloom. And then he goes back to his voice, and we will make sure the old man, which is one of their names for David Ben Gurion, will be happy. So he's writing this. Let's listen to it first, and we'll talk about what he's trying to do with this song.
How old was he when he died? He looked so young.
This was in '87.
Oh.
He died 2 years ago.
He's old.
Oh wait, I don't think it's using the speakers here. But you guys can hear that, okay, right?
No.
Morgan will fix it.
Okay. Oh, the lip. This is not a very high quality video, so don't be distracted by this. The lips don't match up. But this one just really, you can glance back and forth in the lyrics, but really kind of see these are old pictures from the immigration era. Oh, okay.
Yay.
This is the second stanza here. A movie that he was in. He was also a movie star. He was also he did everything. Yeah. So now he's imitating Ben Gurion. I just wanted you to hear him imitate Ben Gurion.
That's great.
And if you listen to old recordings of Ben Gurion, it sounds pretty similar to that. So what is Arik Einstein trying to portray? He's trying to put an entire history of Israel into one song here. What are some things to be brought out of when he's looking back on this era that we're going to look at, the pre-state period? What does he point out, and how does he connect that to that? Yeah.
Well, first of all, he had the Russians coming off the airplane,
Yeah.
and he had the Ethiopians who had come on the flight from
Yeah.
Ethiopia, which both happened right about that time.
Right. Nice. But he's singing about the very first pioneers.
Yes, but those weren't the very first pioneers that he was showing.
Right. Exactly.
And they're all pioneers.
Yeah.
What was it? It was called Operation
Solomon. They did Operation Moses and Operation Solomon.
Out of Ethiopia.
Yeah. One of those was in the 90s. Something else I want to point out again. Remember, I am not a music expert by any stretch. So when people try to do, there's this idea of creating Hebrew culture, and that during the early Zionist period, Israeli culture needed to be created, and they tried to create something new, and they called it Hebrew culture, not Jewish culture. And in creating Hebrew culture, there is a lot of people, a lot of Europeans came by and they said, okay, what sounds more authentic? What's going to be the most authentic thing we can think of? And I looked around and listened and heard Arabic music. However, they couldn't just directly play Arabic music and steal Arabic influence because they also wanted to show they were a little separate. So, if you want to make Arab music but not call it Arab music, what music do you play? And the answer is Greek music. And so you hear Israeli style, Greek music was extremely popular, especially in the 20s and 30s, and there was a Greek folk revival in Israel in the 60s and 70s. One of the most popular music styles in Israel. So you saw a lot of Greek instruments, and he's trying to play off of this influence. So keep that in mind of this tension between these immigrants come in and they're like, oh, we need something authentic. But it needs to be us authentic. Therefore, we'll borrow it from somebody else. Right? Right. It sounded a little, yeah. And he's playing Ashkenazi instruments too. He's got an accordion. He's got accordion. What?
It was a balalaika.
Yeah. That's why this is what he's playing off of. So we're going to come back to Ari Einstein in a little bit. But so now that we're kind of in the mood of this pre-state period, has everybody's seen Israeli folk dance before? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to play this a little bit for 2 seconds. So this is Mayim Mayim. It's based off of a verse in Psalms. The verse you have this line there. In Isaiah, and you will draw water with joy from the wells of salvation. So this song was composed on the occasion of pioneers finding water in for their kibbutz. And I'm going to play this a little bit so you can watch the dance here. I'm sorry. I promise you'll like it. If you don't like some songs, you'll like others. Or vice versa. So first thing, you're going to create a new culture, and this is going to be the dance you come up with. What kind of society invents a dance like this? Yeah, that's pretty good influence. Let's see here, what else?
Jubilant.
What?
Jubilant.
Nice. Jubilant.
Community.
Communal. Nice. This is not a paired dancing society. This is and again, I don't want to get in trouble here, this is a social society. This is a communal society where the idea of we all come together and we all dance together. There's no individuality in this dance. I love Israeli folk dance because I think it really does mirror the early kibbutz movement. The idea of, this is something we all do collectively. You can just kind of imagine this, and they're trying to create this idea of, at the end of a hard day of working in the field, this is what we do. We kick back around the campfire and we all dance together. And there's a communal aspect to it. And I think this also, we're going to play longer stuff and I won't talk as much of it. But what I want you to, you guys know me too well. Like, where's that? Something that's going to come up a lot is what I've termed secular religious imagery. So very secular people who have to be Jewishly literate to come up with some of the stuff they come up with. So you want to sing a song about finding water in your nice little secular society, and they turn to a verse from the Tanakh, right? And the verse kind of matches up what they're talking about, right? And you will draw water with water from the wells of salvation.
What page do you want?
Sorry?
What page?
Second page, so I'll know the page. Under 2A, pre-state period. This is a very secular society who has to be religiously literate to create a culture that they want to be secular. Right? You've got a lot of tension going on. You're going to see this the next couple decades of secular people needing to be religiously literate to create a culture. I see it.
Yeah, well, it also picks up in the second verse from Einstein's song about the convoy.
Yeah.
And then the pioneers didn't see the end. And here you have a dance in a circle. There is no beginning and no end.
Nice. I like that.
That's kind of like when you write. When you have to do a brief piece, you have to start out with a longer piece and then edit it down to what you want.
Okay. All right, so this next one, there's not really much of a video. This is also in the pre-state period, so follow along with the lyrics. And we're going to talk about this one a little bit more in depth because it's really fascinating. So this is called Shirat HaNoar, or the youth song. That repeats again. All right, so you hear the tune. Think about, you have this tune in the back of your mind while you're looking at the lyrics here. And one question I just want to open up: what kind of culture writes this song?
Young,
Young. Why? Why do you say that?
because it's fast,
Yeah.
and it's moving, and it's joyful, and it's hopeful.
Nice.
Full of energy.
Full of energy. What else do you notice from the lyrics? Combination of lyrics and tune.
Forward looking.
Forward looking.
Kind of socialist.
Yeah. You still got that. You got a couple decades
It
before
also
that goes
shows
away.
the importance,
Sorry.
shows the importance to you of you.
Right.
So it's written about you being the ones that are going to make this happen.
Right. That's the thing that cracks me. What kind of culture writes a song? The point of the song is, by the way, the people singing this, us, we are the saviors of the Jewish people. Like, this is not a modest culture that produces this song. This is a, right.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think in a way they had to be that way
Yeah.
because it was really hard. I mean, it was hard. They lived in little huts and worked
Yeah.
really hard, and it was hot, and there was no green then, and
Yeah.
so they had to really be. They had to put themselves. They had to lift themselves up
Yeah.
to make it. You know.
And along with that, they were pretty much flying by the seat of their pants.
Yeah.
There was hope that they were after. They had, limited skills coming from where they came from.
Yeah.
Farming was new to a lot of them.
So two things I want to point out when you look at the second stanza here. Who caused this wonder? There's a question here, and and I'm not sure whether the question mark should go here or here. The idea is who caused this wonder? Like question mark, and is the answer the homeland caused this renewal, or is the answer who caused this wonder, this homeland? So what I want to point out here is there's this dual idea of they are building the land, but somehow the land is also building them as well. That this act of going out and pioneering Israel is and they spoke in these terms, this is a total revolution of what it means to be Jewish. What does it mean to be a participant in Jewish society? And it's not doing what we do. It's not kicking back and like reading Torah and hanging out here in diaspora. It's the idea of the person who sings this believes that their work of planting trees is the holiest and most important thing that they can do. But they don't use the term holiest because they're secular, right? You can kind of see that. And what are the imagery they're using? They're salvation, established. I mean, it's still very, again, secular religious imagery. Very secular people who are Hazon on Israel. Hazon is both like dream and like prophecy. We are the ones that are fulfilling the prophecy of the people. Did I write that as vision / prophecy. Yeah. It's a really fascinating song. Oh, and the best part is they refer to Israel as Eretz Moledet, the land of our birth. And who's singing this song? Immigrants. It's immigrants singing about our birthland. It's unbelievable because by birthland, it's not birth, it's rebirth. Right. The land they were born in, they're trying so hard to get rid of that. But this is the birth. When they say birthland, they mean the birthplace of the nation. It's any last comments on the priest? I know we're kind of running.
The word Israel is not in here. The word Israel is not spoken in here.
The very, very end, they say Am Yisrael.
Yeah, and they don't say anything about Zionism.
No, nothing.
And they don't, especially in that last paragraph, they don't give God any credit at all. It's their hand that's doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, for most would say, well, let's praise God for, causing this wonder. No.
Perfect segue. This is perfect. So we're going to go to the music of the 1950s, and this is a song I'm not going to play for you, but I want to look at the lyrics. The lyrics are very marching. This is Anu Nosini Mabidi, and we are carrying torches. 1951, the state is already established, but we're going to see in this 1950s period that this is when the state gets very involved in actively producing culture. We don't think about this a lot, that American culture is just this thing that's around us, right? We don't think about it needing to be actively created. The 1950s is when Israeli culture is being created, and we're going to see this imagery of, it's almost a Hanukkah song without God. So does somebody want to read these lyrics on page 2 and 3?
We carry our torches and guard the steps of night, the paths beneath our feet upright. Anyone who has a heart waits for light its heart. To lift up to us his eyes and heart. Join us towards the light. No miracle befell us, no cruse of oil found by us. We walked through the valley, climbed mountain high, and there springs unearthed of hidden lights of yore. No miracle befell us, no cruse of oil found by us. We quarried rock until we bled, and then there was light.
All right. What kind of culture?
Anti-Hanukkah. Well, I don't know, we don't, it's not the
Yeah.
cruise of oil.
They're not saying, they're not,
Godless.
It's
yeah,
God.
they're not negating Hanukkah. They're just saying that we did this, God didn't do this part for us.
Right.
It's the other part of it.
And
It's
what
long
does that
arm
mean?
rather than the cruise of
That
oil.
still to this day, at state ceremonies in Israel, this song is sung when they're lighting like the national menorah. We did it. And the very last line, Vayhi Or, is the line from the Bible when God creates light. Vayhi Or. Not only did God not do Hanukkah, God didn't even do this work of creation. Guess who did it? We did it all by ourselves, the Jewish people. Yeah.
I have a question, I want to go back a little.
Okay, great. Sorry I'm running around.
How long did it take them to become a secular culture? I mean, are you
Yes.
going to say that the ones who migrated there were already secular, so it was almost a done deal? Or, I mean, how do you snap from being religious to becoming secular?
Yeah, some of both. You get a lot of immigrants who are, disillusioned with the way that Jewish society looks, especially in Eastern Europe right now. You get a lot of people who are already involved in socialist movements, already like young secular people. And you get some people that there's this idea of Zionism is a reversal of the Jewish condition. What we were before, we will not be there. And if the entirety of your culture is based around, still at its heart a religious culture, you're going to become, you want the opposite of that. And there's this idea of we want Hebrew culture, we want Jewish culture, we don't want Judaism. And it's very, very difficult to separate this out. And there is a lot of...
They're still fighting about it.
Yeah, well, I think the Orthodox in Israel still have tremendous power.
The Orthodox aren't part of this movement right now.
They were against it, they were opposed.
Yeah. And to be fair, early Reform Judaism was also quite opposed to this as well.
Oh, is it supposed to religion? People
Yeah.
leaving a country because of religion?
Correct.
I mean, that's
Right.
Are they leaving because of religion, or are they leaving because their religion is being persecuted?
When people talk about Zionism, there's push and pull factors, right? That absolutely the waves of immigration peaked after like major pogroms. I mean, the Kishinev pogroms that there's, I think it was Bialik who wrote the poems about like that. This is we have to go. Like there's no this pogrom proves that there's really we have to go. There's no place for us here anymore. A lot of push and pull factors here. You have one more.
See, there's a difference between this song and the song before it. Both of them are saying we're doing this, our hard work is making this happen. But the first one doesn't really negate God, it just says, look at all this wonderful stuff we're doing, it's very upbeat. This almost is an antagonist towards God. I mean, it's almost like saying, you didn't do this,
Right.
you didn't give us a miracle, we did it. It's very antagonistic.
And what does that mean that you write this 3 years after the War of Independence, when a lot of people, especially in the diaspora, viewed this as spiritual, but people talk about the War of 48 and 67, and both of these as spiritual events, that Israel was invaded from all sides and protected and somehow defended itself. And the culture, the state-sponsored culture that creates this and says, by the way, remember that we did this. Really last one.
Past Holocaust, when they felt that God didn't do anything for them, and they get to Israel and the Arabs attack them, and they felt that God wasn't there defending them.
Yeah.
So that's why.
6 years after the end of World War II.
Yeah.
Remember when was being written. So I have a song here. This is kind of another one. It's a 180, but it also tells you something about 1950s Israeli culture. This song is called Dina Barzilai. I discovered it when I was preparing for this. It's one of my favorites. Bless you. So when we're talking about this idea of the state and the society is actively trying to create Israeli and Hebrew culture, one of the ways that this is done is through the best socialization technique that Israel's ever had, which is the army. Bring all these immigrants together, and I'm sure those of us who are veterans know that the army will turn you into a family cohesive unit pretty quick. Concur, yes? Yeah. So one of the ways they do this is La Hakad Hanahal, which is the official Army band. And the Army also controls the radio. So if you'd like to make the Army controlled Israeli culture during this period because these immigrants are coming in, they're getting socialized into this very new Hebrew culture that is being created, and then the soldiers go back home, and what's being played on the radio? The songs the Army has approved and commissioned to go on the radio. This is a song called Dina Barzilai. It's about a group of soldiers who fall in love with a woman based on her Army profile.
It's kind of like 5 for 2 eyes of blue.
Right. So I'm going to read, okay. Dina Barzilai, 496351 is their Army serial number. These are some guys who they were bored in the office, and they were going through all the admissions all the packets of the soldiers on the base, and they're singing a song about this woman. Our lieutenant went off to eat lunch, and we remained alone. We were surrounded by thousands of service couches. Well, we know everybody. I'm sorry, I'm just skimming through here real quick. We know everybody according to their form. This is a culture this is not an individualized culture, right? This is we're all in the Army here. But from all the service couches we knew, just one our hearts touched. Dina Barzilai. Color, and imagine when they were singing this, they're literally singing a form. Eye color, blue. Hair color, brown. Height, 160 centimeters. Weight, 58 kilograms. This is the love song they're singing about. By the way, they've never laid eyes on her. Okay. And then, you go to the next page right here on the top of page 4. Here in your form, it says you forfeited family support. You're on your own. Your resting heartbeat is 80, and the heart of your breath is 93. They're singing, I can't tell you enough about how this expresses Israeli Army machismo culture. We're falling in love with a woman by reading her service report. Their sports interest is swimming. If only you were swimming next to you. You had diphtheria when you were little. Like they're singing her medical history, and they said that you were physically fit for combat.
Right, HIPAA.
Scroll down past the chorus again. Scroll down. It's not on a computer. Okay. You received a reprimand on the 8th of the 4th, but we know the guilty party is really the first sergeant. Personal grade and discipline is B, but our general opinion is that you're perfectly fine. We'd still be holding the gun for hours. The lieutenant is coming back, already finished eating, and he too is interested in your file. Glance along at the, I told you this was a fun one. Glance along at the lyrics a little bit, but I also want you to watch this, again, Army-approved music video. Remember that this had to get past Army censors. Here's the chorus. We're on page 4 now. Alright, watch you guys face for breast size here. There you go. Oh, wait.
That's 7 minutes.
Oh, it's good. We just got that Army center.